evening, everyone. Oh, I'm so excited to be back for the legislative session 2023. I want to welcome you to a special edition of Update at 8. Yay! Those of you who know me, usually I have my pom-poms and I'm waving them, but I forgot them at work tonight. But just remember, I've got some pom-poms waving because guess what? We've got great news to share with you this evening. I'm joined by my co-host. I want them to go ahead and introduce themselves so we can get into our update. Michelle Ann McKenzie.
Hold on, need to get off mute first, right? Hi, everyone. Shelly Ann McKenzie here, registered nurse, work telemedicine by day, and I'm the founder of Help for Healthcare Professionals, a local nonprofit here in Georgia. So happy to be here.
Fantastic. And our illustrious, fabulous, and amazing lobbyist, Ms. Juliana McConnell.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be back with you for our updated 8. We're sorry that we were not able to get started at the very first of this year's session, but it was kind of a different year, wasn't it, Dr. Nelson?
Yes, it was.
Got started with the governor being inaugurated, and they postponed it, and so it was a slow start. But buddy, I tell you what, it is taking off now, right?
Gangbusters. We
got a lot to share with you tonight.
Yes, we do. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Michelle Nelson. I am the immediate past president of United Advanced Practice Registered Nurses of Georgia, and I am currently serving as the special advisor to the UAPRN Government Relations Council. And you guys must be wondering, well, what the heck is that? But we're going to get into that a little bit later this evening, because I want to start with the meat and potatoes of tonight, which is what we have done and where we are at in the legislative session so far. So I'd like to hand it over to Ms. Juliana McConnell to give us an overview of our amazing successes to date, as well as the bills that we are watching and supporting. Juliana.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, and it was an exciting day at the Capitol today. And everyone knew about APRNs today. I can tell you that. One of my dear friends who's a legislator, he actually said, and he's good friends with Chairman Alan Powell, who has been carrying our legislation and has been a champion for us. But this legislator told me when I said, our APRN bill is on again today, and he goes, APRNs. Oh my goodness, I know more about APRNs now than I do my ex-wife. And I said, well, we've done a good job then, haven't we? So today, you're not going to believe this. We are halfway through the session. Like I said, it started slow, but once it took off, I mean, it has taken off. Today was day 20. And so as we stand right now, we actually have let's talk about the bill that we're putting, I say our number one focus on right now is House Bill 215. So remember that bill, 215. That is the legislation that actually is the comparable language to what we introduced in 2021, and it was carried over to 2022, House Bill 430. That is our APRN licensure bill that authorizes APRNs to actually have a license that is approved through the Board of Nursing. It also has a section that authorizes APRNs and PAs to write orders for disability parking permits. We can already do it in the code. All of this does is actually list APRNs on the Department of Revenue site as one of the healthcare providers that is authorized to write those disability parking permits. So that's basically what that bill does. And it was, and it has moved fast. It was introduced on February the 7th, passed out of the new House Health Committee on February 14th, unanimously. And thank you to and in fact, we Shelly Ann and Dr. Nelson and one of Dr. Nelson's students even testified that day. And I encourage you, Dr. Nelson, sometime I want us to be able to put a link up so that we can show our members out there how to go to the link and watch the archives of that meeting.
Can I give a shout out to Mr. Servio Jean-Baptiste? One
Absolutely.
of the master students at the mighty Clayton State University. He came and he showed out. He showed up and he showed out. Let me tell you, gave an impassioned, heartfelt plea for HB 215. We're so proud of him.
Absolutely. And he learned about it, Dr. Nelson, when? On his way to the meeting.
On his way to the meeting, I called and I said, "You're on your way, right?" He said, "Yes, Dr. Nelson, I'm on my way." I said, "I think you would like to testify. Would you like to testify?" He said, "I'm not sure." I said, "Yes, you are." He said, "Well, okay, I'll do it." I said, "Great. I knew you'd say yes. And I have the remarks prepared for you and everything. It's going to be go time when you get there. You're going to be great."
Well, and also our Dr. Nelson hit a home run out of the park that day. And thank you, Dr. Nelson. Not only did she have to give a testimony, but she on the spot had several questions. I mean, some really challenging questions that the committee asked of her. And she did a yeoman's job. Thank you so much. And so the bill passed unanimously. And then we were able to get the bill on the what's called House Rules calendar. That means the full House voted on it. We have 180 House members, and we have a couple of seats that right now are vacant where they're electing those seats where someone we have elections ongoing. But the bill was presented by our leader, Representative Alan Powell. So several legislators stood to defend the bill and make positive comments. It passed 165-0 unanimously today. Yay! I mean, that was great. So now that bill, that goes over to the Senate. It will be read for the first time next Tuesday in the Senate.
Juliana, I'd like to say that history was made today. Can I make that comment?
Absolutely.
Is that a true comment?
Absolutely, in several ways. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we also, now we did something a little different this year, because last year that we were able to we passed the bill unanimously out of the House last year also. But when we got to the Senate, there were a lot of things going on, and we were not able to get the bill, have the bill heard in the Senate HHS, that's Health and Human Services Committee. So the bill did not pass last year, the full legislature. So what we're doing this year is not only did we start that bill, House Bill 215, we also started a comparable bill in the Senate. So now we actually have two bills which Senate Bill 164. So write that down, because we may be calling you. No, I won't say may. We will be calling upon many of you to possibly make calls or send emails. But that bill was again signed to Senate HHS, and we are waiting, and we're hoping we've got some powerful leaders that sign on to the bill. And that's big. I mean, to have we've got Senator Hofstetler, who is also an AA. He's carrying the bill for us, but we have 4 other committee chairs who have signed on to that bill. So it's got some heavyweights on it that's pushing and supporting it. So we'll be reaching out to you when we can get it on the agenda for the in the Senate. So we're trying to move both bills, one through the House and one through the Senate, and then whichever one passes over, and then we won't, of course, work to get both of them passed, but it just helps start the discussion in both chambers, so that we don't have to wait and introduce the bill totally new. The concept in the bill will have been discussed in both chambers at the same time. So we're really excited about that. We haven't done that, we've not tried that in both chambers like that. So that's really excited about the licensure bill. We also have another bill that we're still doing some work on. So we're not going to discuss it. It's House Bill 214. It was introduced. It was assigned to the House Health Committee, but we're doing a little bit of work on it right now. We're working in cooperation with the PA Association, and they're actually taking the lead on that bill. That means we're working with them, but we let them be the one to kind of navigate and do more of the strategizing along with us sitting there with them, but they will take the lead on it. So we'll be back with you as soon as we have that language finalized, but it is sitting right there in the committee. We do have, 40 days. So like I said, we're halfway through day 20 today. Okay, now the next important date is Monday, March 6th. That's called crossover day, day 28. Now, the end of that day by midnight, and there have been many of your leaders right there, including Dr. Michelle Nelson right there, who's been sitting down at that Capitol at midnight with me, with other leaders from the APRNs, because by midnight that night, if you've got a bill, it must pass at least one chamber. It has to either pass the House or the Senate by midnight that night for that bill to still be able to be considered for the session. So if we don't get the bills through by the midnight, they're still alive. They still sit there, but we can't move them and to work on them again till next year. Okay, because it goes in 2-year cycles. Okay, so 2023 and 2024 together. So, but we're going to be optimistic that we're going to get at least one of those bills over by crossover. So that's day 28. Then the last day of the session is Wednesday, March 29th. One thing they're doing a little different this year also, they are taking off every Friday. So they go in now, and actually next week, they'll be off Monday and Friday. So we'll only have 3 days next week, and then 4 days the next week of February 27th. Then Monday, March 6th is what we call crossover. So that's the day we'll be working till midnight. So then just a couple of other quick, we've also been real exciting. We're doing some work behind the scenes, working on some budget issues. We're actually working on the budget. Dr. Nelson and I have worked very closely with the Secretary of State's office. And we're actually doing some advocacy, not only for ourselves and our nursing board, but for the Secretary of State. Because remember, your nursing board is under the Secretary of State. So we went to the Secretary of State and we said, we want to advocate for you. We want to try to get you some additional dollars in the budget for additional staff. So we're very hopeful that, and the Secretary of State agreed, said, hey, that is great. Yes, we do need additional staff. So we're working to get two additional staff and on the license that can provide services to the licensing board for the Board of Nursing, in addition to making that education staff person who's only part-time now, making that person full-time. And we're doing this with the blessings of the Secretary of State. So we're going to the leaders that make the decision about the budget and asking them to increase the budget to provide those. Because our nurses, you out there, you're having problems. The staff do a great job for the Secretary of State and working with the Board of Nursing. And we have a phenomenal Board of Nursing. So, but there's just not enough staff, not to be able to, for renewals for a license. And remember, you have to do it every other year. So we need additional staff for new license and renewals. And because we hear complaints that because we have a lot of concerns called to us, right, through UAPRN, and we're glad to be your association that you realize you can call and we will work to help you. And that's what we're doing, because we're hearing horror stories of months before you can get your license renewed. So we're working for you, the Secretary of State and the Board of Nursing, to get those dollars put in the budget. Last up, we are also working again for the Board of, on behalf of the Board of Nursing to have introduced, and we're working jointly with the legislators in the House that are working on mental health parity, another large bill. And we're working to get what's called an alternative discipline program. The medical board has a program like this, and the statute has to be changed to implement that program in the Board of Nursing. And that would enable nurses who have like a substance abuse, something like alcohol or drugs. If you identify and you realize you have an issue, this will be an opportunity, this alternative discipline program, for you to go to the Board of Nursing, go through this program, and that way protect your license and your job while you're getting assistance should you need it. It's a very important program. And the legislators that we took this to that are working on the mental health were very, they were saying this just fits right into the workforce issue that we have, because we need more nurses, and we don't want to lose nurses who are experiencing a mental health crisis and issues. So we're working on that also, and that's exciting that we have taken that on, working directly with these legislators so that we can support your Board of Nursing to make them more effective for you. So last but not least, we also are supporting your the nurse anesthetists, their association. They have their own separate association and they have their own separate lobbyists, but we're working jointly with them. They have some legislation. I'm not going to go into detail about it tonight, but it's making some very needed changes, to their scope, and making changes in the statute that impacts them. So we'll be supporting them in any way we can and advocating on their behalf. Their bill has been introduced, and it's also in the Senate in a committee waiting to be heard. So, like I said, a lot going on. I mean, in the first 20 days, but we feel, I don't know any years, Dr. Nelson, when we've actually at this point has so much going on and already a lot of successes. Yes. So we got a ways to go, but with your help, and
but it's not just the successes, the support. And, I cannot say enough how the many years of consistent engagement and showing up, education, outreach, persistence, resilience, and grit that it has taken. We have dug in, and we're just getting started. And the fact that we've been able to come this far, I remember Senator Unterman said, well, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. You guys aren't even on the block. I don't even think you guys are in the same state, but I think that we can at least say now, Shelly Ann, Juliana, Mr. Patino, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself shortly, but can we at least say now, declare and decree that we are in the building and at least in the room? Oh, we're making great strides.
Hey, and Dr. Nelson, tell them who one of our that got up and spoke today on our behalf and actually said he supported this bill 100%. And guess who it was?
It was Representative Mark Newton. Newton, who, along with our very own good friend, Representative Sharon Cooper,
that stood.
Let me tell you, we would have never said that they might stand for us and support our bill. But not only did they stand, they talked, they explained. And so, folks.
Explain, Dr. Newton. No, Dr. Newton is a physician.
He is a physician. And, historically, physicians have not been very supportive of our legislation, but we're not a threat. All we want to do is serve the citizens of Georgia and provide access to care. This is not about advanced practice nurses at all. This is about the citizens of Georgia who deserve healthcare is not a privilege, it is a right, and they deserve the right to affordable, cost-effective, and quality health care. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts, but then I'm just a hopeless romantic and always thinking that it's going to be amazing this session. But I believe that this session is going to be different because of the engagement and the education that we have done. So we want to say thank you to Representative Mark Newton and to Sharon Cooper tonight, and to everyone else that stood for us. Jenny Earhart stood as well. And we had another legislator who I believe was part canon. We're not sure. We're going to review the tape, but we're grateful. Actually, we're grateful to everyone because there was no one who said no. Everyone said yes. So tonight we can say thank you to every single House member.
Yes. Thank you.
So can I ask Mr. Patino, this is a new face, everyone.
Good evening.
I want you to introduce yourself. Mr. Patino, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Seferino Patino. I am part of Health for Healthcare Professionals as the Executive Director by night. And by day, I am a Memory Care Director for a senior living company out in Georgia. So
Fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Mr. Patino, which
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love to do.
Boy,
I
get
was,
ready.
it's not going to be that bad, just a little bit.
Okay.
So I was sitting right after I testified, and I looked to the right to see my good friend Shelly Ann McKenzie, and I see this handsome gentleman standing above her. I said, you know, he looks very familiar. Is that Seferino? And
Yeah.
surely it was our Seferino, who happened to be in the
The
area
area.
Mhm.
and decided to come down and support us. And you know what? That meant the world to me, Seferino. What I want you, because why I'm sharing this is because I want other people to understand that we need support. If you happen to be in the area, if you, whatever it is,
Just pop
come
in.
by the
Mhm.
Capitol.
Pop in.
Come by the, please talk to that, Mr. Patino.
Yeah, so it's definitely important. You know, I'm in the healthcare industry as well, and I see it day in and day out. So we need to be there to support everybody, support our nurses, support our advanced practice nurses as well, to, you know, have the same rights. You know, I'm an licensed administrator with Georgia. I have a license, so why don't you guys? You know, so this is something that I'm glad passed today. I'm very happy. The hard work that you ladies have put in and team is paid off. So congratulations.
It meant the world when I was in that room, and this has happened multiple times. You know, we have not just me testifying at a committee hearing, but the work that we do on a whole. It means the world when you are working hard and you can turn and see your brothers and sisters standing behind you, cheering you on. It gives you the extra oomph. It gives you the confidence. It gives you the power. It gives you the strength to move forward. This work at times can be very lonely because it's just a handful of us doing it, and that's what we're trying to correct. We're wanting every nurse, not just advanced practice nurse, every nurse, as well as anyone who supports nurses, which is pretty much everyone. We want you to get in the frame of mind of supporting. If you can't show up, like Mr. Patino at the Blue, because I'm sure he'll show up more now because he sees, you know, the level of work that goes into this. But if you can't show up, then you're the person that's going to answer those calls to action, and you're going to do all you can to support. Shelly Ann, what are some of the other ways that individuals can support? They can come to the Capitol.
Listen, I am so, I would say I feel an immense sense of pride to have been standing in the room. Every time you go down to the Capitol and every time you fight for change, whether it's small, whether it's something big, it's the little steps. So you have a significant impact, not on just yourself, but your community at large, right? So it's everyone's job. And I was down there for a hot minute as well in our white coats.
That's
Nonetheless,
right.
we wear our white coats to represent the nurses and the healthcare professionals that we're fighting for every day. One of the things too, when you're in the space, right? So the legislation has to move, like Juliana explained, to the hearing committee, and it moves to the House, and it moves to the Senate. So there are different stages, but to stand in the room and see the process and witness the process. Some of the things that happen in the Health and Human Services Committee room, that hearing room, there are different questions being asked and answered, and it's just good to be there and be present. We can help it play interpreters, right? We're not playing interpreters. We're interpreting what there might be questions about the legislators. Most of them are not healthcare professionals. They're not medically trained. So we were able to answer questions to clarify things to help them make an informed decision, so a better decision. So it's good to be there and, just witness everything going on there. So everyone needs to show up and be present. Sometimes we do get the email and it's last minute, so you might not be able to make it down to the Capitol, but you can watch live. You can watch it live online, and we'll get those links to you. You can watch it live online. You can also watch the archives, because everything is streamed live. You can watch the archives and so on. So my plea to you is to just get involved. Show up when you can, and send a thank you note. For those of you listening, send a thank you note to your legislator. And guess what? You don't have to worry about, well, did my legislator, did they vote? What way did they vote? Because it was passed unanimously, 165. So everyone just send a thank you. Just send a thank you letter out to your legislator, and then you can find your legislator. If you don't know who they are, you can find that online. We'll also drop that link so you have that available. But most importantly, I think my plea to everyone is we all can do more. Advocacy work is not for the faint of heart, but we all can do more to encourage everyone to make change and make that impact. So together, we work collaboratively and we get things done together. We can't do it alone. No man is an island. So the healthcare workforce right now, we're in a state of emergency. We've been short in healthcare since, I think I was doing some research the other day, since about 1940s. We've been short, right? So we want to hold on. Juliana was mentioning that Mental Health Parity Act. We need to make sure that we hold on to those that we do have. So we're out here fighting every day to help build up the healthcare workforce, to ensure that there's sustainability. So when we're sick, we have people to take care of us, people who can get refreshed, right? We need people, we need bodies at the bedside, but we need people to be able to provide the care that we need, or our loved ones need when we're sick and so on. So it's everyone's job in the community to rally around healthcare workers. Trust me, everyone knows a healthcare worker. When it's not your neighbor, somebody at church, the pharmacist, you get your medicine. So everyone knows healthcare workers, nurses, we're on the front lines daily. So we continue to advocate. I'm a nurse, but, it takes a lot of us to keep that healthcare ecosystem going. So we want to make sure that we have a healthy workforce. So we have healthy communities, right? So we can get people to access that they need. And then we'll just make stronger communities that way. So just excited about what's to come. We're off to an amazing start. I promise you, I will do everything to get down there as much as I can, or at minimum, I'll put it on live and listen to it in the background. But yeah, my plea is just everyone get involved. Share the information as well with your family. Again, it's a community affair, right? So share this information, share the links with your family and your loved ones. I was talking to, I took my son to track practice literally this evening, and I was talking to one of the other parents. Her daughter's in nursing school at Howard. And we were talking and we said, yeah, I'm so excited. And I don't even know how I struck up the conversation about advocacy and the bill passing. And she's like, oh, tell me more about that. And she was like, oh, wow. So there's no license. So how does that? So I made sure to clarify. It's not that nurses don't have a license. We shouldn't be practicing, right? So there are different types of license for different nurses, physician's assistants, there are different licenses that are available and so on. So I had the opportunity, so I was afforded the opportunity to explain it. So we can all explain to lay people as well and help them understand the importance of everyone being able to advocate and just keep moving the needle little by little. So Help for Healthcare Professionals, we're excited, for this partnership and always having the opportunities to collaborate with UAPRN and, Georgia Nurses Association and all the other organizations that are primarily focused on advocacy work. And just look forward to doing more with you. We've been together a couple years now. So
Yes, we have.
I'm not going anywhere, and I keep pulling them in. So we have Patino now on board. And we just keep bringing in more and more people. But
Can I toot some horns here? Can I toot a horn? I want to toot the HHCP horn this evening.
okay.
Help for Healthcare Professionals is actually doing a fundraising gala April 1st. And the crux of this gala,
The crux,
the focus, the thrust, the main thing about this gala is making sure that we are acknowledging our healthcare workers, not just nurses and advanced practice nurses, your favorite pharmacist, your favorite dentist, your favorite occupational therapist, your favorite whatever. It is high time now that we really do a much better job of not just acknowledging, those high-level providers, but ancillary staff too, because it takes everyone to make it all work. So we're also going to be sending out some information about the gala, and the nominations for awards is going to close on March 3rd.
Yes,
so
March
please
3rd.
make sure that you are going to nominate your favorite, everyone in your life. There's like 17 different categories. So just go nuts and nominate people. You can even nominate yourself. We won't know.
No, you can't nominate yourself.
All right, you can't nominate yourself.
That's one of the rules. You cannot nominate yourself.
You can't self-nominate.
Listen, everyone knows a healthcare worker in their community. This is for the Atlanta metro area, but guess what? If someone up in Rochester, New York is, gets a hold of this video, we're gonna post information. If you get a hold of it, guess what? You might know someone in Atlanta who's doing exceptional work, advocating for change, doing exceptional work at the bedside, doing work in rehab services and so on. We have Dentist of the Year. We have quite a number of categories. Legislator of the Year. So if you know anyone that you need to nominate, just go to helpforhealthcareprofessionals.org and you'll get the pop-up and you'll be able to vote. And just tell us why. Just tell us why you would like to nominate that person to be recognized as one of the exceptional healthcare heroes in the Atlanta metro area. So excited.
Well, Ms. Shelley-Ann, thank you for sharing so much about HHCP. I want to switch gears now and talk about one of my besties. Y'all know one of my besties, Dr. Lisa Eichelberger. She was supposed to be joining us, but I don't know. Lisa, we miss you, but I cannot end this video without speaking to the incredible work, the yeoman's job she did by working with our phenomenal lobbyists, actually, during the last session, where they were able to get some language added to the mental health parity bill. What was that, 1013? Which now allows the Board of Nursing to be able to collect workforce survey data. Why is this so important? Because up until now, we don't really know where advanced practice nurses or nurses are working, if they're working, if they left the state. We need better data and to be able to analyze that data so that we can better plan strategically of how to make sure that our workforce is effective. We have enough of it. We know where they are. Where do resources need to be sent? We need that information. And so finally, I think it's this week that Dr. Eichelberger was able to complete the survey questions and prepare them to go to the Board of Nursing. We have our fingers crossed. we are so grateful that really took, Juliana, you can speak more to the depth and the breadth of time that you and Dr. Eichelberger spent to get this done. Juliana?
Well, Dr. Eichelberger has worked on it, as you know, for years, trying to get a mechanism in place to collect this data, because the survey questions that were originally on the whenever you went to either renew your license or get a new license, there were a list of survey questions, but they were optional. So, and we could not mandate that those questions be answered. The Board of Nursing and Secretary of State's office, they could not make it mandatory that you answer those questions. So only a small percent of individuals were actually answering those. So it gave us no data that when you only have a very small percentage, reliable data. So we've started working on trying to get that changed. We hit a couple of roadblocks to begin with, but then we saw in House Bill 1013 an opportunity last year, and we went and met with some of the leaders who were involved in putting together that language. And we were able to convince them how important it was. So they actually inserted that language into the health parity bill that actually mandates, it gives the Board of Nursing, as well as some of the other healthcare boards, it gives them the ability to mandate those questions be answered. You must complete those questions in order to complete your licensure process whenever you're renewing or getting a new license. And it's not like a lengthy process. It's just a few questions, but it's such important questions. One that comes to mind, for example, is the zip code of where you work. It doesn't really tell us that much if we know where you live. We need to know where the nurses, all types of nurses, are working, and the type of nurse that you are, so that we can identify where the various nurses are throughout the state, so we can identify our shortages, which also then goes back also to universities and what we need to focus on. Where do we need to put more emphasis in increasing students that are going to school? Like say we need more midwives or we need more nurse anesthetists, but this helps us carry that to accumulate that data and analyze that data. And like Michelle said, and I tell you another person too, Dr. Nelson, though, that started out with us now a year before last was Dr. Lucy Marion. She was right there at the table. And those two women, just like Dr. Nelson, they don't have the word, no, I can't do it in their vocabulary. I mean, they just, don't argue with them. If they ask you to do something, then just do it. And because they've got a reason and it's important. And so we're just so excited that we were able to get that inserted and the bill was approved. And now Lisa is working, Dr. Eichelberger is working on finalizing those questions with the Board of Nursing. So great job, very important.
Oh, you're on mute, Dr. Nelson.
One other thing that I want to share this evening, because we want you guys to understand, we hear you. We hear your concerns. We hear the things and are responsive to the things that you need to be able to do your jobs to care for Georgians. And there is a crisis that has been brewing here in Georgia regarding protocol agreements of advanced practice nurses. Now, I would have to say last year, as it was brought to our attention, that the wait times to have a protocol agreement finalized to the Composite Medical Board was increasing. And we are at a crisis level now. We're hearing complaints that, to get something done, it's taking 6 months, up to 6 months to get a protocol agreement, which is prohibiting advanced practice nurses from being able to fully assume their roles and responsibilities in various settings that they work in. And it is absolutely imperative that we get the support that we need to be able to remedy this situation. So please trust and believe that we are working on that. There could possibly be some legislation addressing this to fix this, and I believe that that has also been introduced, Juliana, correct?
Well, there's a discussion whether it needs to be legislative fix or and Dr. Nelson, that's one of the advantages of being a member of your association. I'm seeing this at work right now. Nurses, there's a crisis situation. Nurses they are crying for help. So they're reaching out to our association, to your association, UAPRN, and expressing and sending letters and telling us stories. And we have accumulated a lot of that data. In fact, I encourage you right now, if you or anyone you know, another APRN who is having problems with getting their protocol agreement approved through the composite medical board, please immediately reach out and let us know, because we've already made contacts. I've been talking with the governor's office. They have, even as late as just a few hours ago, they reached back to me and said, get your information to get together, get the letters, get the data, give it to me, because we're going to make this issue heard.
Yes.
And so that is where we're standing right now. We're working in cooperation though with like your PAs. They also are having that, and their issue is even actually more critical, because as a PA, they cannot get their supervisory agreement. It must be approved by the board before they can even start to work. Now, APRNs, when you become an APRN, you can begin working, but you do need that protocol agreement for if you want to have prescriptive authority, then you have that, and it must be approved ultimately by the Board of Medicine. So we're working in cooperation with them, and we're making our voices and making your concerns heard, and gives you a link that way and we're going to the governor's office, because the composite medical board is a standalone board. They're not like us under the Secretary of State's office. They pulled out several years ago. They're attached to public health, but they don't answer to public health. And that board though is appointed by the governor. So that is the link. We are reaching out now to the governor's office to make your issue heard now there in the governor's office. So reach out, let us know. Anyone else, please don't hesitate to reach out. Send us your story, because we want to be able, we want to fight for you. We want to let your voice be heard. So reach out to us so we can do that. And the more we have, the stronger that voice is going to be when we see that, because it is, like Dr. Nelson said, it's gotten to be a crisis. It's ridiculous when we've actually got stories where people, where nurses have had to wait 6 months. As one of them, a letter said it's been 6 months and they still do not have their approval. They gave them some kind of temporary approval, but right now they're waiting on the final approval.
Okay, fantastic. So this is UAPRN, HHCP, hard at work for you, okay, to make the landscape in which you work something that's a lot more palatable. So I do want to end with giving you a few updates in terms of announcements. And I think we didn't mention this yet. UAPRN, the West Georgia chapter, is having a conference, a one-day conference coming up on March 4th, 7 CEUs for only $100. $100. What can you even do with $100? Go on and spend the day with them. They do a fantastic, this is year 16 for them. They do a phenomenal conference. Then register for the upcoming UAPRN state level conference, September 21st to the 23rd. It's a real steal. Early bird pricing as low as $100. I paid $99. So I've registered 20 plus CEUs. Now, all of this stuff, we're gonna share the links for you. So you don't have to worry. You're telling us to go do something, but you give us no links. We will send these links out to you. Georgia Commission on Women's Champions for Change Day at the Capitol. Yours truly will be the host next week, Thursday, February 23rd. That's 2/23/23. Where we're going to be giving awards to some of our greatest champions. So we want to see that place bubbling and full. Please come
1
down to the
o'clock, 1
Capitol
o'clock.
from 1 to 3 p.m. next Thursday. Then we have GNA Day at the Capitol. I believe that is March 16th. March 16th. And just a reminder again, HHCP open nominations that closes March 3rd. And we have the gala fundraiser April 1st. We're going to be sending out that as well. Then we have the Gamma Chi chapter community health fair on April 15th from 11:30 to 3 o'clock at the Martin Recreation Center, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in downtown Atlanta. UAPRN has a lot of new partnerships in the works, including MedSembly and NPACE. UAPRN members will get exclusive access to discounted CEUs and professional resources. Our wonderful president, who's a little under the weather, Miss Ashley Blackman, could not be with us tonight, but she sends her greetings and salutations. And she wants you to know that she's working on a members-only page through UAPRN's website and a government relations council page, as well as an entrepreneur subchapter. So for all of you out there who are entrepreneurs and want to become entrepreneurs, we are creating a chapter just for you. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Okay, so Mr. Patino, the king among queens, do you have any parting words before we close out for the evening?
Just want to let everybody know, thank you all for your hard work. We appreciate you. Without you guys, it would not be possible. As I said, I'm in the healthcare field, dealing with health issues already with my mom, and it's tough out there. It's not, we're from New York. They're different, how can I put it? The different things that we can get up in New York that we don't have here.
Resources.
We don't have resources, exactly. So we need to build Georgia up. And if New York can do it, we can. So let's continue the good work, support our advanced practice nurses, and continue on.
From one New Yorker to the next. If we can make it there, you can make it anywhere, honey.
That's right.
That's right.
And we're proving that
true.
right here in Georgia.
That's right.
All
Why
right.
not? Why not?
So I'm going to kick it over to Ms. Juliana McConnell to close us out for the evening. I really thank all of you guys for tuning in and being engaged. Juliana?
Yes, thank you. This was new tonight too, by us meeting and taping it so that we could then make it available throughout the state where you can actually watch the updated at your convenience and at any time. But hopefully we will be still offering some live sessions again with hopefully some special guests and probably even we're hopefully working toward next Thursday night having a live session, but we'll put out that information later to confirm that. But we'll look forward to seeing you, and please do read my updates. If I give if you're interested in getting on my email list, and I have a couple of hundred people now on my email list where I give you kind of personalized updates. My email is Julie McConnell, JuliMcConnell @bellsouth.net. Send me an email. I'll add you to my email list and start sending out emails throughout the week, just kind of keeping you updated on what's going on at the Georgia State Capitol. Thank you.
Want to say Brown of 444 group, as always, keep it as sharp and having us looking good. Thank you so much for your services. With that, Updated 8, over and out. See you again soon.
Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.